Bessie Besana is best known for his passion and love for pageantry and designing. After being a mentor at Aces and Queens, he went on to become the general manager of Miss World Philippines, successfully crowning queens to represent the country in various prestigious pageants. He then pursued a full-time career as a fashion designer, wherein he makes beautiful designs for all the world to see.
Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of In Love with Me, where we feature inspiring individuals who will share their amazing stories. I'm your host, Mafae Yunon Velasco, and for this series, our topic is passion and purpose. For this episode, we have an empowered man, international fashion designer, pageant expert, and former general manager of Miss World Philippines to motivate us to take action. So without further ado, let's welcome the amazing Bessie Besana. Hi, Bessie.
Hi, Mafae. How are you?
I am great. I'm so excited to catch up with you. Thank you for saying
Me
yes
too, me too.
to be part of this campaign, especially at this challenging time. I'm sure you've
Yeah.
been busy during the quarantine period, but before I ask you what you've been up to lately, please share with everyone on how you are the empowered and inspiring man that you are today.
All right. So, Mafae, when I was younger, I've always been a very simple person. I've always been like a wallflower. I've always been that person that has been supporting friends throughout their careers or in their endeavors in life. But as I grew older, I realized that I have my own star or I have my own light. So I actually started developing my confidence when I was in college. And that's also the time where I found myself. I found where I want to go and I want to be. So that's kind of where I started off. So a lot of people will say that their fondest memories of school were in high school, but for me, it's really in college. Like I
Mm-hmm.
attended La Salle University and I was part of the student council. I was part of organizations and I've been very active. And from there, it stemmed out when I was in after stepping out of college. I started doing a lot of things. So I graduated with a degree in civil engineering and I practiced that profession for 9 years. But on the side, I actually am very active in the fashion industry, as you know. I've been helping a lot of my fashion friends. We actually met through a common friend, VJ, and then I'm also very active in the pageant industry. So while I was doing my job, which actually kind of pays the rent, I was also doing some of my passion, which is pageant and fashion. And then eventually,
Mm-hmm.
after some time, after finishing my career in the engineering industry, I decided to go into fashion. So I came back to the Philippines and I went to fashion school. So now I'm a full-time fashion designer with my brand Bessie Besana.
Yes, and I'm so blessed that I get to wear your amazing creations. I think we
Yes,
saw one just went past during one of the Binibini
yes,
pageants. I was lucky enough to have Bessie dress me up, and this is like right after I gave birth too. So, yes, guys, a bit
no, how
chubbiness there, but
exciting.
I was still proud. I was proud of wearing Bessie. But going back when I first met you, I think it was with Queenie when Queenie was about to join or
Yeah,
represent the Philippines,
yeah.
and your vibrant personality, and maybe we met before that also, but I just remember those are my fond memories with you. And then yeah, I just saw your passion on helping women succeed in the pageant industry. Like you said, we met there and your network and the fashion network. But what was it about pageants that struck you to just love everything about it?
Mafe, siguro at my age, I'm 35. Um, when I was about 8 or 9, I was trying to discover who I really was. So when I was 9, I think I watched Miss World 1993. where Rufa Gutierrez was actually, she won second princess or second runner up. And that was my first foray into pageants. And then after that, I kind of saw these women empowered and they have a voice to share. And of course, I like the glitz and the glamour as well. Like I like the gown part where they walk and sashay. And then after that, Miss Universe 1994 happened in the Philippines. And again, I was very interested in it. And then I realized that these are avenue for women to be seen or to be heard. So I kind of like that idea. So it stuck with me. Like when I was younger, I would watch, pero hindi naman ako yung tipong talagang I would know every single detail until the time of Miriam Cambao. So that's the time where I really started following pageants seriously. And I felt that at some point in my career and in my life, I wanted to also be part of this industry. And luckily, when I was graduating from college, one of my friends actually decided to join Binibining Pilipinas. That's in 2005. And, as a friend, she just told me, like, parang, samahan mo ako sa Araneta. Let's go and file my app. So literally, we took a camera, like, the lumang DJ cam, and then we just took photos of her, printed it in Kodak or something, and then literally submitted it to Binibini. She was very amateur. There was no professionalism to what we did, but she became a candidate. So we were so surprised. And then that's actually where I started with my passion for pageants. And that was the year that I started helping her out. I would come with her for the events of Binibini. Like if she needs something, I'll try to figure it out for her because she's my friend. So it's really more of a friendly thing. And then eventually I met a lot of people in the pageant industry. And then I became part of Aces and Queens. And I think that's where my deep dive into helping girls really stemmed out from.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, Aces and Queens, they're known for a camp that helps and inspires girls to achieve their goals. And, from there, you became also a general manager of Miss World Philippines. I mean, how did that feel when coming from a fan or, just helping out your friend and then becoming a national director?
I think that would really be a very, it was a natural progression, I would say. What happened kasi was, I've been very active in supporting our girls. As you mentioned, I supported Queenie for Miss World 2012. And I was very lucky as well that Megan joined Aces and Queens before joining, when she was en route to Miss World. And that's where the two of us became really good friends. And naturally, when the pageant was no longer with Miss Cory, and it was passed on to Arnold Vigafria, they needed somebody who will run the pageant. So Megan felt that position was really suited for me. So she kind of put my name forward to ALV, and ALV took it. And then, the funny story there was that when I had my interview with ALV, I thought I'm going for an interview. But apparently, it was really more of a job offer. So I was so surprised because I was ready to explain what my passion with pageants is for and stuff. But I was so surprised when ALV told me, ano na, like, let's start on Monday. I was like, okay, ready na pala. So that's how it started. So I'm very thankful to Megan. Until to this very day, she's a very good friend. We'll catch up once in a while. Last January during her wedding, I was there. So talagang, I'm very thankful with the relationship that I've had with the beauty queens that we have in the Philippines. And, talagang naging stepping stone ko din sila to the things that I dreamed of.
Oh, and you got to travel also, di ba? Wasn't it you were with Megan too when she passed on the crown?
Yeah, so when Megan competed in Bali, so I went to the first international pageant that I went to was actually Queenie. And then the second one that I went to was actually Megan in Bali. And then when Megan won, and then she was doing her reign, I told her, Megan, my promise to you is that wherever you're gonna pass on your crown, I'll fly with you and support you. Because usually, when you pass on your crown, especially for international title holders, it's very emotional for them. So, and I know that for a fact that it's not gonna be in the Philippines. So, Megan might have less of a support, like unlike Pia, where she had everybody else here in the Philippines. So I told Megan talagang sabi ko, samahan kita wherever the pageant is. So that was in London in 2014. So I was with her in the backstage. So I was supporting her there.
Oh, you're so sweet. My gosh. It does help. Like, even here, for the national pageants, the turning over is always like it's like, oh, may bago na. It's like, you feel, I mean, it was nice to have that year, but then you feel like, oh no,
Yeah.
it's like it's done.
I
I know I
agree.
felt that during Binibini because, of course, there's a new set of winners. There's a new, I guess, these winners are the ones that the people are going to be watching now. It's like, okay, now what? But I'm glad that Megan had you there, and for sure, she's great. Like, I love her too. One of my favorites
Yeah.
among the beauty queens. Just laid back, just she's not like the typical queen that is like, okay, like can't reach. I guess she's just super easygoing. And I see, that she's blessed with a friend like you. So, Bessie, you said you had confidence since you were young. I believe maybe because you had, strong mentors. Would that be the case?
Um, Actually, you know what, Mafe? I was when you were asking me earlier that I didn't think I had actually mentors, but I had life experiences. When I was in college, when I was in high school, my best friend is actually our class valedictorian, and he's like
Hmm.
president and all of that stuff. And I've always been his friend. So that is my personality when I was in school. And then I kind of, while I was observing them, my friends, getting thrusted into the spotlight in school, I always imagine myself like, what will I do if I'm in that position? Like, I've always had that thing for myself. So that when I got that opportunity in college and after college, I told myself na parang ito na yung chance ko. So I will not ruin it, or I will not commit a mistake. Like parang gagalingan ko talaga in whatever things that I do. So that's how it worked. Through time, I will pick up learning points from people. Siguro the closest mentor that I would ever have is a friend of mine from my work. It was around 2008, 2009 when I was in my, they always say that you have a midlife crisis when I was like 24. And then my mentor in the corporate world told me that, when you're good in what you do, um, possession or let's say money will come eventually as long as you're good in what you do and never lose your
Mhm.
integrity. I think that's what I treasure most now. Like, I've always been into a position where I actually handle a lot of money or a lot of people, but I make sure that my integrity is always intact, and I make sure that I am very honest in whatever I do. And I think that was
Mhm.
a foundation block of what I am today.
Mhm. No, that's great, and I'm pretty sure your mom and dad are so proud of you. I see Tita Nessie watching. Hello, thank you for tuning
Yeah.
in, Tita. Integrity is such a big word, and that's one of my favorites also because we are in a country where when someone's being honest with you or not, and wanting to be your friend for the good, not just what you have. And that's something that I've always seen in you, Bess. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your honesty. Like, that's always been your thing. And whenever I'm around you, I just feel this like positivity. Your presence just brings joy. So with that, I know we're humans, right? And you are an amazing human. But when there those days when you feel off or unmotivated, what is your ritual or habit that you do that helps snap you back into being the Bessie that you are?
Um, Mafe, I'm just gonna give you a very short story. A lot of people ask me why I left Miss World Philippines. The real reason why I left the organization is because I actually had a sickness in 2018. So I developed alopecia. It's actually your hair started falling out, and it was still an acute alopecia, or like the first level alopecia, but it rapidly the hair loss was very rapid. So I decided to resign from that job because it gave me a lot of stress. Being in a national pageant really gives you a lot of stress. So I decided to take care of myself, and I resigned. In 2019, when after the resignation, I really became depressed. I know for a fact now that I became depressed, and I didn't even know it that time. What really pulled me out of that depression or that time was actually friends, and I'm very lucky to have developed and nurtured good friends in my life. I traveled in June 2019. I traveled to Singapore, and I actually stayed with a couple of my friends who are actually friends from my corporate years, and they were really helping me get through that stage in my life. So I think that what really helped me a lot, like talking to your friends, making sure that you talk to these people. So you know what? Every time that I hear a pageant girl, where her advocacy is about mental health, I really support it because it's true and it's real. It really happens in the world. Even for somebody who has a very strong personality like me, I even had that experience. So I make sure that if ever there's a friend who PMs you like, "Hello, how are you?" I try to really do a conversation with that person because you'll never know what is happening with that person. So I make sure that if there are friends who supported me that time, I also am a friend that is able to support somebody right now.
I love that, and it is true, like most, especially right now. Just being honest, reaching out, making sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that can motivate you. And like what Bessie said, it's a simple hi, hello, right? And that can just open the door to someone wanting to let something out, and you don't realize that you reaching out had made that big difference for them. That is very moving because I never knew anything about that, Bess. I just thought that you were going to concentrate on your designing. So, I mean, I respect everybody's choices in life, but thank you for being honest with that. There's a lot of people out there right now, most especially are feeling this, like we were talking about earlier, losing their business or losing their job, that can really get to you. Something that was shared to me today actually was my husband sent me this quote saying that for 2020, priority is really saving your life. Your health is actually already an investment for this year, right? And you sharing that episode or that experience that you had, I mean, it was a dream job, yes, but at the end of the day, it's all about your health, your future. And I'm sure, your priority was for your family too. So,
that's right.
God bless you with everything you're doing, Bess, because I know no matter what, you'll be successful. So let's talk about your company. What is new with Bessie Besana, and maybe share with us on how you started. Like, where did you find that that you had that talent of designing clothes?
Yeah. So when I graduated from the university, one of my friends told me to go to the College of St. Benilde. So I came from LaSalle, and then he told me that there's a fashion show happening. So of course, wala naman kami ginagawa, college. So parang I went. So I went to the College of St. Benilde. And then that's the first time I actually saw a real fashion show. When I say a real fashion show, it's really designers, couture gowns, couture clothing. And I was really in awe because, when I was younger, I've always had that idea that there are people who makes clothes, but I never really thought of it as a career for myself. And then that was really my sort of entry into the fashion world. And I became friends with most of the designers from that batch who actually graduated at the same time as me. And VJ is one of them. And I
And
started.
he's tuned in. Hi, VJ. Sabi niya, paano po maging Bessie Besana?
I was just talking about VJ. So I was helping VJ out and all of our other fashion designer friends. Every time that there's a fashion show, I would help them, backstage and bring the clothes. Sometimes I will tell VJ pa nga, we'll walk from Glorieta to NBC tent, which is now the fort. As in literally we'll walk because we don't have money to get a taxi. So that was really my start in the fashion industry. But I kind of suppressed it because I never knew how to get into the business. So I did continue with my career as in the corporate world. But after some time, when I was already about 29, I told myself that I was not really happy with what I was doing. I was doing very well. I get promotions, I get opportunities, but it's not something that I look forward to when I wake up. So I told myself that if I'm gonna try something new, or if I'm gonna try something else, I'm gonna start now, which is that time, which is 2014. So I was in the Philippines. That was also the time that I was helping out Megan in London. And then I was telling Megan the story of me trying to find myself. And then Megan told me that if I want to try something, go for it. Like, do not hesitate, do not dilly dally, just, do it. And that was the turning point in my life. And then a couple of weeks after that, I came back to the Philippines for Christmas, and I met up with Shamsi, who's also a very good friend. And she told me that I've always been passionate with helping them find clothes and stuff. So she told me that, why don't you try getting into fashion? And that has always been one of my thing. So I told myself, yeah, I'm gonna try it out. And then I went back to Hong Kong, where I was working. I resigned from my company, and I went back to the Philippines in March 2015, where I started going to fashion school. And I found myself there. I look forward going to school. I go to school 3 times a week, and then on the other 3 days, I would actually do on the job training with Bing Cristobal, who is a fashion designer in ABS-CBN. So imagine 6 days a week, I will either school or I will go to work. So I really learned a lot in the first year that I was doing fashion. It was very challenging because I didn't have that much income, but I was very passionate with what I was doing. So that's the start of everything. And I was very lucky when Pia won, because she started wearing my stuff, my clothes. And all of a sudden, I was trusted in yes.
Freshness.
All of a sudden, I was trusted in a position where people started asking for my quotation or for the stuff that I do. And that's actually where I started off my business. So in 2016, I registered my business, Bessie Besana, and I've never turned back. Like, I'm just that type of person that I keep pushing forward. There are challenges, there are struggles through time, but I made sure that, these are just bumps in the road, and I will continue driving.
Right. Yes, continue driving, because that road is very, very long. And I actually visited your ever first kind of store at your own home. And I respected that so much, because I know, diba, starting a business is not easy, but you just have to take action. You just have to start with what you have. And you started off with humble beginnings and just being humble. You have this network of girls that love you, like including myself. And no matter what, we will support you, because you have always been there for us, right? You have so many fans, so let's say hi to all of them. Of course, VJ, thank you for tuning in. May question pa siya. Who is a Bessie Besana woman?
Mafae, VJ was my mentor.
And then,
on top of being a friend, she's really a mentor to me. So I love you, VJ.
Oh, me too. I was one of his muses. But I love your batch. I am so glad that you were one of the ones that helped VJ, because he's another one that is just like you, so hardworking. Just wanted to strive for success. We have Paolo. Hi, Paolo. Thanks for tuning in.
Hi,
Paolo Arevalo. Hi. We have Jay.
I also wanted to shout out to JR or Sugno. We actually has a very supporter of us from the yes. And of course, my friend from Canada, Edgardo. Hi, Ed. How are you?
Hello. We have Jeremy Paredes. Hi. First, Jen Red. Hi, Jen. Thanks for tuning in. We have Jen from San Francisco.
Jeremy Paredes is also my client.
So everybody's watching you from around the world. Oh, there you go. So I'm glad that you guys are all supporting Bessie, because this guy, is such a great-hearted person that I love so much. Now it's Q&A for you, since our topic is passion and purpose. Please define passion and purpose, Bessie Besana.
Passion is something that you have to really find. It's not something that you realize earlier on in your life. It's something that you develop. And once you realize what your passion is, keep working on that passion. And as they always say, when you work for your passion, it's as if you were not working in your entire life. So I really hope that a lot of people actually find their passion and they do it, because not everybody gets that opportunity to do it. Like, a lot of people are stuck with something because that's where they earn their money, but they're not necessarily passionate with what they do. So I really hope that it's a continuous journey, and it doesn't mean that you're older, you cannot find your passion anymore. Always remember that Christian Dior started becoming a designer or becoming Christian Dior when he was 41. And I'm not even 41. So I was telling myself, you can really find it. And again, another person is Kentucky Fried Chicken. They didn't start until Colonel Sanders is actually about 60. So you can still find your passion in life. There's no limit to where we are going, and there's no limit to what we can dream. So I always believe in that, and that's how I define my passion.
Winner! I love it. Perfectly said. Oh, winner ka talaga internationally. But let's go back to that. You are a mentor for a lot of women, and you have had many years of experience. Becoming a national director also. So if we speak to aspiring beauty queens or models, what would be your advice to these girls, or even for the men that want to join pageants? What should they be preparing ahead of time? Can they join 6 months preparation, 1 month, or 1 year preparation? What is your advice to them?
I've always believed that the people that really succeed in the pageant industry are the people who actually knows themselves. So if you look at Pia, if you look at Catriona, if you look at Megan, these are very successful women in the pageant industry who has got an international crown. But all of them started from their core, or who they are, and they know that. So as early as your childhood, you should know who you are. You should try to find your purpose or yourself, and then be proud and be loud and about your purpose. I think that's where you really start off. If it's about if you learn that through your school or your academics, then so be it. I always tell people to read a lot, because when you read, you expand your horizons, or you expand your knowledge. So try to read the book, try to read the magazine. Ngayon, super easy na, because we have online channels. We can actually read a lot of stuff. So with your phone, you can actually go places. So I always tell people to not stop learning, because when you stop learning, that's the only time that you limit yourself. So those are my advices for people who are trying to get into whatever things, not only pageantry, but whatever you do, you try to learn, because every day is a new learning day. That's what I believe in as well.
Yeah. Oh, true. True. So, just having your experience and your knowledge on the crowns, we've got very successful results through Pia, Kylie, Megan. What are the difference in crowns, in your opinion? And what would be, the characteristic of that beauty queen for per crown?
Okay. So a lot of people will always consider Miss World and Miss Universe as like the top crowns in the world. So for Miss Universe, it's really a very much of a performance competition. Like, you really have to understand how to walk, how to talk, and how to present yourself. Because eventually, after winning Miss Universe, at least this is true for the last decade, is that you become a celebrity. You become a personality. And it's very important that you actually know how to present yourself as one. And they always say that a Miss Universe is somebody who has a life on and off screen, and that's very important for you to understand. Because if you present yourself the same way, then it might not be very helpful for you. Having said that, Miss World is a pageant where they really value a lot of charity works. So you also have to understand if that's something that you're very passionate about. Like, a lot of women, they always in the Philippines, when people tell me that their dream is to become Miss Universe, to become Miss World, it actually surprised a lot of people, because we're a Miss Universe country, but Miss World has really a purpose, and that because you've been to Miss World, and they really value beauty with a purpose. And if that's something that you're looking for or you're after, then Miss World might be a better competition or a better platform for you. And I'm very proud that Miss World has helped a lot of people in the entire world, not only with like a singular country, but all of the actions that they've been doing around the world are very it's a vast project. It's not just central to just one place.
Yes, well said. I mean, this is something that I think girls need to know when they they try to achieve a certain crown or even join a pageant. I mean, you have to understand what these organizations are looking for, so that you can, I guess, mold yourself or continue to learn on how to be that girl, that position. The queen. Because, like Bessie said, after you win, there's the real work happens.
Yes.
So you have to be transparent enough to show that personality, that character, or that work ethic. I think, right? I'm pretty sure you were there also during the 1 year that Megan was reigning, and she was nonstop traveling, nonstop. I think speaking and just giving back. So that's what you have to be excited for, I guess. It's not necessarily the fame and fortune. It is the giving back, inspiring others, and making sure that your impact as that queen for that year is something that everybody remembers. Right, Bessie?
Mafae, coming from what you said about Megan, I remember one time I was already living in Hong Kong, and then she messaged me randomly, and then she was telling me a story, and then I was asking her like, "Where are you?" And then she said, "Oh, I'm in Sweden." I was like, "What are you doing in Sweden?" And she was telling me that I've been traveling so much because we've been trying to get sponsors for the charity works that we've been doing. So Megan is one of the most traveled beauty queens. She's been to a lot of countries, and she's been to, I think, probably all of the continents except for Africa, because that time there was a virus in Africa, so she was not able to travel there. But she was able to travel to a lot of places, and I've been envious of her travels. She will tell me that she's been to Puerto Rico and all of these places. So and then they raised a lot of money for the charity works that they've been doing, and I think she really enjoyed that. I think she also found her purpose with that. That's why she kept on coming back with Miss World. So until to this very date, she's always a host for Miss World.
Yeah, that's so amazing. That's the thing. Like, my experience with Miss World is they do love women that are, laid back, outgoing, outspoken, but of course know the balance, know the fine line. Doesn't mean you have to be loud and rude, but just be known that, hey, I'm here. I'm here to help, or I can volunteer and this and that. So I'm glad, Megan is such a perfect match for Miss World, and Julia Morley, she's amazing, and how could she not love Megan? So going, yes.
Okay. During your time in Miss World, so at the time I was still, very much of a fan. I really thought that you're gonna win Miss World. I was really in the top 5. I was like, it's gonna be
almost.
Oh,
Almost. I tried my best. Well, I think it was just like timing, and I was also grateful for the position that I was able to gain for the country, though of course I wanted to bring the crown home to everyone. I guess I wouldn't have my 6 crowns right now that lives with me every day that I take care of, so that's always something I think about. Like, Nick and I always talk about that, because
in a top 5 position is a very big feat in Miss World, because there's so many candidates.
109 kami. Grabe.
Right? Top 5 is a very strong finish, I would say.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and that's why I'm grateful. I mean, until now, I just recently connected with Miss Venezuela my year, and I didn't really get to know her then, but then reminiscing now and talking about what happened then and what we're doing now, it's like those are the things that I'm grateful for, that I actually have 108 girls around the world that I call a friend, or a sister, because we were the ones that experienced that year, right? But yeah, like it's just, I'm just grateful that
I also saw, I think that was last year, Tita Des also connected with some of her co-candidates in Miss Universe 1984. And I was like, oh my God, that was very, and you know what? I was born in
Yeah.
1984. So I was like,
No,
Tita Des is my,
she's
Tita Des is my queen. That's so nice to have friends like you.
oh, she is your queen on your birth year. Oh, she's good with that. Like she connected with her co-candidates. She even flew there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I guess that's the luxury of social media. Everybody's on it. I mean, that's the way that I connect with everyone.
Right.
With that, I'm sure being a national director for Miss World, you were seeing the advantage of social media to promote the organization, the girls. But what would you say or share to girls who will join the pageant and be asked this question if social media is an advantage? Is it an
Um,
advantage?
you, as a person in general, you have to understand what social media can do for you. If you find it as a platform to voice out your opinions or to inspire people, then it is a very good platform. But if you think of it differently, like when you only see the negativity of it, where there's bashing or there's negative emotions coming out from social media, and that's a different side story altogether. So I always tell my girls to make sure that you utilize social media well. You put out the best things that you can share. There are times that social media can really inspire people. I was telling you about our show earlier. It was a passion project. We never knew that we actually inspired a lot of people to discuss pageantry in a different light. So I think we also realized that as a matter of fact. It was not something that we realized earlier on, but it is something that is that's the power of social media, and we have to really use it to our advantage or to spread positivity. So that's how you should use your social media.
Mhm. Mm-mm. No, I agree with that. I always share that with my students too. I said, this is actually a free platform for you guys to market your brand, to
Yeah,
market yourself.
agree.
Because you just never know what kind of opportunities you will also gain, right? Diba? You just put out there, hey, as a fashion designer, of course, you will share your creations. You will share your wisdom as a fashion designer. So that's where you attract the right market to, I guess, either purchase your creations or even refer you to bigger brands that may want to collaborate with you. And I think you agree with me with this too. It becomes like a portfolio for girls and
Yeah,
men who want to be a supermodel, a beauty queen, or join pageants, because that's where people find if they can relate to you, right? Or hey, this
correct.
girl's gorgeous, she's photogenic, or this and that. So, what do you say about mentoring the youth about bashers? How should they avoid? Kasi alam mo naman, when you join a pageant, it's an open book. So you cannot avoid them. But what would be your advice for them to stay motivated, to stay inspired and motivated?
Mafe, recently when we did our Ashley nights during Sundays, um, one of my friends is a very outspoken person. And after the show, he started gathering backers. Like he will get bashers left and right from YouTube, from Facebook. And then he messaged me one time. He told me that, Bessie, parang hindi ko to kaya. Like parang this is something that I cannot do because I'm very opinionated. He's actually not very, hindi siya parang, how do I say that? He owns up to what he says because he's a very intelligent person. He's unapologetic, kumbaga. And I told him that, friend, when you have a basher, it means that number one, your voice is actually heard. So that's a positive note because people listen to you. Number two, if you have a basher, you can actually, there's a way to transition the basher into a supporter. And I learned this from Pia Wurtzbach. In 2015, when Pia started getting bashers, what she told me is that you reply to them, but you reply to them with kindness. And then eventually, when you reply to them with kindness, they will naturally transition to becoming a supporter. Because if you show kindness to a person who's showing you negativity, mapapahiya siya sa sarili niya. Na parang, why am I bashing this person?
Mhm.
Whereas this person pala is super nice. So that's my strategy. Every time that you get a basher, listen to the person because that person might be telling you something good, right? then after listening to that person, reply to that person with positivity. Like parang, I'll try to be better, or parang, I hear you, I listen to you. And then, eventually these bashers becomes your like greatest
Your
fans or
followers.
followers. So, it was very basic. Parang sabi ko kay Pia, shucks, Pia, totoo pala, no? Like, I started doing it when I started getting a name for myself as well. And it's real. It's real talaga. Like, parang if you talk to these people with an open mind and an open heart, then they become really your supporters. And I always tell people that that's the way to go.
Hmm. Well, of course, everybody's different. Everybody has different opinions. It's only how you are able to understand each other's shoes, I guess. And that's nice tactic or advice, because not a lot of people will face that. They'll either i-level nila, or they would just delete or block.
Yeah.
But I like that. I mean, you just have to spread kindness and just be nice. And if it still doesn't work out, then just respect their opinion, I guess. Because at the same time, you are somewhat of an open book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, I always say that maybe bashers are a sign that you're doing something good for the world.
Yes.
And that's why there's an opinion, right? But
Yeah.
galing, I like that. No wonder. Yeah, Pia is another fave of mine.
Yeah.
It goes to show why she is loved by everyone. Okay, so back to Bessie Basana. Can I ask you, what is or how can you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Okay. From a career perspective in fashion, I really wanted to put my name out there a lot more. I was so a bit sad with 2020 because 2020 was supposed to be my year. I was claiming it in the beginning of the year. I was supposed to do a lot of shows for especially for bridal works because that's really my passion in in the fashion industry. I really want to do a lot of things in the bridal industry because I want to be part, just like in pageants, I really also want to be part of something important to a person. So, creating bridal gowns and suits for the couple for the wedding it's one of my passions because when you do these things for them and you do it very well, they will remember you for their entire life. And I really want to be that person for them. And that was really my passion. So in the next 5 years, I really wanted to be a known or a household name in the bridal industry. I'm getting there. I think I'm on the right track. From a personal perspective, I also wanted to invest in my health. I think that's something that a lot of people should invest on. I also that's why I kept on. I already started drinking multivitamins. I started taking care of myself. I like to enjoy the things that I can do. Like every day, I will spend about an hour walking outside because and I leave my phone because that kind of refreshes my mind. It kind of opens up my
Yes.
soul to seeing a bit of greenery, a bit of other people. So that also helped me from on a personal level. Um,
Mhm.
I have been asked about my pageant career if I wanted to go back. It's something that I'm very passionate about. And sabi nga ng friend ko, it's in my DNA. Pageantry is in my DNA. And I told myself that yes. Actually, that person who told me that it's in my DNA just commented now, Mox Gonzalez. Hi, Mox.
Hi, Mox.
So he told me that Mox told me that the pageantry is in my DNA, so I should not stop doing it. So I will continue helping out girls if they want to pursue pageantry, and eventually, if there's an opportunity for me to come back to a national organization, then I would be very much happy to do that. So those are the things that I look forward to doing in the next 5 years.
And we will be following you guys. I'll make sure that Bessie's social media handles are here in the caption, so if ever you have any other questions or possibly advice that you would like to ask Bessie, or maybe order his creations that he has there at his shop, he is more than happy to answer questions, and just maybe just a simple hi to know that you are a big supporter of what Bessie is doing. To me, I always appreciate my friendship with Bess because he's just this vibrant personality that I love, and I love to surround myself with people like that. And also with the goals, just.
I
What did you
appreciate
say?
I appreciate your friendship as well.
Thank you. And I am very grateful that you are here. And this catch up was long overdue. So thank you
Yeah.
again, Bess. And just from, some take homes that you mentioned here that really struck is, make sure your integrity is key, right? That's something that you should hold close to your heart, because when everybody has integrity, then we can all get along and just be honest, being honest to others, being honest to yourself. You also mentioned, finding yourself. I think that's very key, especially right now. It's, perfect time for all of us to read books, to stay educated, find positive outlets like this. Bessie also has his show. That's, I guess it's Bessie. It's every Sunday, right? They have a
Yes.
live show with him and his friends. Topic is pageants. And I'm very entertained. I love his show, and that's what inspires me to do my show also. I never told you that, but when I saw your, I think one of your first shows during this quarantine, I was like, wow, galing nila. But, also, kindness is key. Guys, you don't really know how important being kind is to other people. Even there is a saying, kill them with kindness. To me, really is, treat them with kindness or shower them with kindness, because what you throw out in the universe, the good karma you throw out there, it always come back to you. I think 100-folds. So before we wrap up, Ben, maybe you have other shout outs or invite people to where they can find you or your projects, your upcoming projects.
Sure. So you can follow me at Bessie Besana, and if you want to see my that's on Instagram, and if you want to see my bridal work, that's also at Bessie Besana Bridal. So I manage both of my accounts. You can also visit me at my website at bessiebesana.com, and mahilig akong mag-reply sa mga talaga, nag-message sa akin talaga. Saka mahilig din ako mag-update, especially sa story. So you'll be able to see a lot of me there. I also wanted to invite everyone on every Sundays at the Philippine Pageantry, and also on my personal YouTube channel, Bessie Besana, where we have our show called The Ash Nights with the Corona Group. So I have me and four of my friends do a show, and we talk about beauty pageants, and we really wanted to give a different level perspective in the pageant industry. And we invite a lot of other people to talk with us. This Sunday, July 19, we actually have Jonas Gafford, the creative director of Miss Universe, as our guest. And sabi ko nga kay Mama J, thank you ha, kasi first time ko mag-guest sa pageant, parang pageant groups at sa amin pa. So talaga, I feel very honored to have Mama J in our live on Sunday. So if you want to also see our previous episodes, you can also visit my YouTube channel where we have our season 1 and the first episode for season 2. So don't forget to click subscribe and hit the notification bell button for that.
Yes, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch your with Mama J. Mox still has a question. He said, "Are we still allowed?" Yes, you're still allowed. I'm still reading. Bessie, share something about you that people don't expect. Something not related to fashion or pageantry, like books you like to read.
Oh my God, ang hirap boxy ha, nakakaloka ka. Actually, I'm a very outgoing person, Mafae. Like, when you put me in a party, I would like know another new person after like 2 minutes. But what people don't know about me probably is that I actually value me time. Every day, I usually lock myself in my room and don't talk to anybody. I think that kind of recharges my soul, aside from sleeping, of course. But that's something that I realized that I needed. So every time that I get that opportunity and chance, that's why I was telling you that I like walking, because every time that I walk, I don't talk to anybody. It's an hour of solitude. It really recharges me. So it's very surprising for a lot of people to hear something like that from me, because they know me as somebody who's madaldal, who's very talkative, I reply to everything. So for them to know that I do that, it's very surprising. And I think that's something that I want a lot of people to know about me. And I think that also is gonna be something useful for a lot of people. And if you try to do it, you really be recharged after you do that. So it's a me time.
Yeah, it's very important to have me time. I think, like you were saying, you need that time, kahit 10 seconds, or just to be able to like come back. Hey, I'm recharged. It's
Yeah.
like taking a shot of like
Mafe,
silence.
Mafe, it's so funny. That's why Moxie's saying that's why you don't reply to the group chat. Yes.
He was recharging for this.
Sometimes I will, I will zone out with my social media or like with my phone. I will just drive because I'm a phone person. But I really
Right.
make sure to it that I drop my phone, an hour a day to make sure that I get back to myself, not in my social media or to my phone. And I also want to take this time, Mafe, to greet Jeffrey Havellana, my friend from Norway. Hi,
Yes.
Jeffrey.
Hi. Thanks for tuning in. You have like the world here right now.
I know.
Thank
I'm so happy,
You're
friend.
very loved. You're loved. So maybe it was a perfect time to have you, because everywhere around the world they're still all awake. But with that, Bess, I think we've answered everything. Although I think we have one more here. From Grabador, hi, thanks for tuning in. As a fashion designer, do you think the fashion show will be different now because of the COVID-19, or do you think virtual fashion show would be possible on the next fashion show or near future?
And this is Edge, actually, my friend from Canada. Mafe, I was so surprised. I was checking my Instagram yesterday, and I was surprised that Etro, a brand, already started doing a physical fashion show in Milan. And I was like, wow. As it's they're covered by Vogue and all of these publications. So I was quite surprised that they're starting already. And I'm very optimistic of the time that we will come back to the normal, like where we will have our physical fashion shows as well. Having said that, I guess as you mentioned, it's a time for virtual things. A lot of things can be done virtually, like this interview as an example.
Mhm.
So it's an opportunity for us to explore that as well. That's why I
Mhm.
started also doing a lot of stuff for myself where I could showcase some of my works online. So I think even if it doesn't come back to the normal very fast, we should take advantage of the online channels that we can use to showcase our clothing or our artistry.
Yeah, I think that is true in a sense where there's so much opportunity right now online. Being creative, I think, is what the challenge is right now for everyone to try. I mean, I see a lot of shows happening. That's also, I think, your confidence. You're building your confidence, being in front of people, and we might not see the eyes, but at the end of the day, you're receiving messages saying, "Oh, a great show," or when's the next one, or this and that. So when you receive these positive comments and you don't realize the impact that you're actually doing online, then it's always nice to try it out or take action. Just like what Bessie said earlier, before we went online, you were saying how your show is so popular now that one episode was like what 450 views or something, and that's amazing. Obviously you're doing something great, and even though during this challenging time, you're initiating that creativity. So now I guess we can wrap up. But before we wrap up, Bessie, can you please share with everyone your words of wisdom and hope for everyone listening, the pageant community, the fashion community, models, beauty queens that might need that extra boost of happy hormones? What would be your share, Bess?
Um, this time of pandemic is a very challenging time for everyone, and most especially to the fashion industry. So if you're working in the fashion industry as a designer or as a model or as a production person, um, there will come a time that things will go back. And that's what I believe in. Everything has an end, and I believe that sometime soon we will get a cure for the COVID-19. Let's make sure that we are ready when that happens, and let's take this time to improve ourselves, learn new things, understand where you're going, understand what your passion and purpose is really is, so that when that time comes, when things are back to normal, and we have the new normal, you are ready. You have to cultivate that thing inside you so that when you are presented with an opportunity, you're there to grab it wholeheartedly. So that's my advice to all of the people that are experiencing negative thoughts or feelings about this pandemic. And we will all get to that position.
Yes, thank you, Bess. And like I said earlier, Bess is such an amazing human. If you can share this with all your friends and family that need that extra boost of happy hormones. So, with that, guys, actions speak louder than words. And thank you for tuning in this episode of In Love with Me. Love you, Bess. Thank you so
Thank you, Mafae.
much.
Love you.
Thank you for watching and Love of Me series.